So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us in this week's drop-in session. The broad topic is how to keep processes up to date. And the feature we will focus on today will be the process reviews, which is a feature that has been released at the beginning of the year and has now, with early feedback from the customer, it has evolved. So we can now talk about it again. So before we jump in the feature of Skore, I think there's an interesting topic in what makes it interesting to keep your processes up to date. Say you're creating a library, processes are a live asset. Okay, so what from our experience when mapping a process to satisfy, let's say, an audit, it will be forgotten at the end of an audit. A company, which we see all the time, is a company that sees an opportunity to map processes and to create a real culture of continuous improvement. It's one of the important steps is to maintain the process documentation. Not only it's the source of truth for everyone, how we work as a team, what's the official way, the documented way on how we do things. And when everyone has the common understanding, a shared understanding is a word we use all the time, a shared understanding of their processes, it's easier to discuss improvements because you don't need to spend forever arguing about first what is the right way of doing. You've done that the first time. So the roles typically will be someone mapping the process or editing them. You will have the sponsorship, the ownership from process owners, which may be more senior in the organization. All these people must be involved and constantly being on top of, okay, having processes that are up to date is a necessary task for the organization because we can benefit from that. We can actually really improve our processes. We can use them as a baseline to discuss improvements, make the changes we want, check them, and then maybe roll them out to other teams if it has been tried locally. So there's a real cultural aspect, and a company needs to make choices to have people with the time saved, the time, dedicated time to keep processes updated. Now, if we look at the Skore platform, there are tools that help you triggering you, telling you, okay, this process should be reviewed. This process hasn't been reviewed for a long time. Maybe it's time to do a new review. This is what the process review feature is about. So there are two main roles in the process review in Skore. The first one being the review owner, which is the person leading the review exercise. They will be the one, at the end of the day, they will be the one completing, marking the review as completing, as closed, but they will be the one probably maybe organizing a meeting with everyone, say, right, we need to review this process and we need to sit down together. So the review owner is important in what we will see, and the participants, who is taking part of a review. So what I will show you first is how does that happen from a participant's point of view, and then we will deep dive into creating a review cycle, showing how it works as a review owner. So here I'm on the process reviews page in the Skore platform on the demo website, and I see that in May I have two reviews that are addressed to me. The marketing process review and the sales process review. I actually have as a user. So here I'm really as a user, as a participant, not as the process owner, the review owner. So I already have completed this one. I see the little banner. So let's see here, the sales process review. I can see all the processes that are in scope. In this case, there's only two processes in scope of this review. You can have as many processes as you want in scope. I can see the other participants. So as other participants, there's Craig, Sam, and myself are participants in this review, and we will see how to set that up. So how does that work as a participant to take part in the process review? So here I am, I have seen my review, and then I can open each process. Let's say an intro to forms. So this is an example process. I have this little banner to easily come back to the review, and then I can review this process. This is the whole point. Is it still relevant? Are the roles still the one that we are actually using? Are the systems still up to date? So as a participant, my input is valued. Are all the information that we have on the boxes still relevant, all the attachments, etc. If I have a comment, I can use the comment module in Skore. So the review module is heavily based on the existing that we have had for years and years, the comment feature. So I can see comments that have been left by other users and just say, all right, this is actually a relevant comment. I just don't need to do anything, but maybe I have another comment. This can be automated Also, so I'm adding a comment and then a call out. The call out is great to point to a physical space in the canvas to where my comment is relevant. Feel free to add as many comments as necessary. You can even also reply to an existing comment. So that's time for you to also review the comments that have been left potentially by other users. Once you're done with adding the comments, you can go back to the process review. It appears here in the top banner. So now I can see that my comments that I've just added, we see a few seconds ago, is here, and I can do the same exercise for all the processes in the scope of the review. So Chris playground process, I can open. I know there's nothing in it, just for the sake of the example. Well, it looks good. Maybe I can add a little call out and then go back to my review. Okay. The reason the comment doesn't add here is probably because it's completed already. Yeah, the comment was marked as completed. So I will just reopen it. Let's go to show you that it will show. Well, now it's here. It was marked as completed. That's the way to mark mark comment as that. This comment is still open. If we've done something, the feedback has been acted upon, we can mark it as completed. So now I've done my review. I went through all the processes. I can confirm that these two items, so these two processes have been done. I have completed the review of 2 items. I click here to validate that I've done my job of reviewing the review. If I reopen the screen where I was, I can see now that under my account, Colin Claverie, I can see that I have completed and I have a date to which. So now Craig and Sam should go in and do the same for them. So that's the experience from a participant point of view. It's very straightforward. You see the list of reviews. When you open a review, you have a number of processes or documents to review, adding comments or maybe replying to an existing comments, adding the callouts, and then clicking the button to say, I have completed this review. Very straightforward. Now I will change my hat and I will go through the cycle of creating what we call a review cycle. So if I look at this marketing process review, I see that I have one in May, but I have another one coming up in June, another one in September, and the same with the sales process review. So you see that the review have different dates over time. The next couple of months, they keep coming back because they've been scheduled like that. So let's have a look at how it works. So the first step will be to click this button here and add a title. So you will be guided through the process to create a review. So what's my review, let's say, is the finance team process review. So what can be a good name? A good name describe probably what it's about. So finance team processes. We can always say also if it's a quarterly or monthly, maybe it helps as well naming it better. So finance team processes quarterly review. Quarterly finance team processes review. That's the name. Who is the review owner? For the sake of the example, I will remain the review owner, and then we can customize here a message on what we want the participants to see. But feel free to keep the basic default message if you're happy with it. I will select the processes and the documents for that. So my processes, I can either select them individually, each process manually. Okay, so that's fine. If here we are into the finance process review, I can select by folder. So I can say, right, we'll actually take the whole finance processes, and when the review comes, automatically all the process of the finance folder will be included directly into the review. So you don't need to maintain a list of processes to review, just all the finance process folder. Very convenient. Similarly, you can do something with tags. You can select a tag, and then at the time of review, it will show all the processes with a given tag. So you can easily add or remove a process. Dynamically, it will generate the list of processes to review. And that works both for reviews for processes and documents. Documents being another feature we introduced earlier this year, with the ability to create text-based content in Skore and in opposition of visual diagrams type for the process. Then the step 3 is about selecting the participants. So there's a similar logic than the process and the labels, the tags and the folders. Here you can select either individual processes one by one, so Colin, Craig, and Chris, why not? Or If you want something a bit more dynamic and you're already using user groups, we can use the finance user groups. Okay, so whoever is in this group at the time of the review coming will be notified and will be included in the review. So that's a very convenient way of managing the users only once. When a new user is joining the workspace, adding him or her to the relevant groups, and then if you're using groups for access rights, it will be automatically done. If you're using groups for reviews, it will also be automatic. And now we are coming to a very important feature of the review cycle is the participation of these users optional or mandatory? If it's optional, that basically means we will send them a couple of emails to tell them there's a review upcoming. But if they ignore the emails, if they don't do nothing, that as a review owner, that will not prevent us from closing the review. If it's mandatory, though, in certain contexts of compliance, for example, this may be required. If the review is mandatory, we cannot close the review until all participants have completed it. Okay, so that blocks it. That even you as a process owner, you cannot say, all right, we are done. You need to pester them, to pester the user, follow up with them, say, right, guys, you need to complete this review because we are at risk of a non-compliance event here. I will select the optional part. And then the dates. So you're adding manually the dates. We believe this is the simplest way of doing instead of having a scheduler that doesn't work in most cases. So it's very easy to add, we said quarterly, so every 3 months, very easy to add a couple for the next year. And then what I love about this scheduler is that we can decide, all right, we know that a Friday doesn't work. So it's very easy to go and say, right, let's just move this one on a Thursday. Saturday obviously doesn't work in most business contexts. And again, I can just tweak them to a day that is convenient. When you have dates that fall over holidays, around the Easter period, around the summer holidays as well, very easy to manage. Then I can save all that and my review cycle is set up. So to make it very clean, you have a title. What is it about? You have processes and documents. You have several ways to select them, participants, and then dates. This is what makes a review cycle. All right. I see my first one that has been scheduled for the 17th of May for today, actually. I have one folder, I have one participant. Let's have a look at it. I will open it. So let's say that's my review I just created in the position of the review owner. And I can see who has completed my review. So here I can see that Craig, Colin, myself, Chris, and Sam have completed the review. So I can close it. So as a review owner, I close a review once and for all, click save. Then I've got my little confetti, congratulations, back to all the reviews. And then I see that not only it's closed, but it's also completed and it will drop off the page very, very shortly and not be displayed anymore. It will not send any notification. It's all done. So that's the cycle to create a review. Reviews are as useful. So we said that the reviews are based on the comments. So the benefit of being linked to the comment module is that even if the review is completed, even if I haven't marked all the comments as done, I can still go to the comment module here to see all the comments, okay, of all the processes. And as usual with the scope, I can say, all right, I know there was a comment on the finance process that I had to go and fetch, so I can use the scope here to filter by comments already and mark them as completed if needed. In the process reviews, you can also still access all the completed review. They are showing at the bottom of the screen. It's very easy to reopen one, to scroll down and search for them. So that we can review again the content the comments that have been left and mark the tasks as completed when they've been done. So that's how you recover the comments that have been left as part of the review. And the next one down is the reporting. So there's a couple of reports that have been created that allows you to extract the comments from the review. So here you can see the review cycles, what has been scheduled, all the reviews. The one we just released recently was the next review dates. So that's one that is showing for each review cycle, for each process, when is the next date. Okay, so it's very convenient to see. So one process as part of one review cycle will only show once. So it's a very good opportunity to check all right, I'm looking for this process. I want to double check that the review has been scheduled for this one. And when is it? So this report is very powerful when you're starting using it as sort of a management report that you can share with the wider team. All the review dates, in this case, this is all the review dates that are scheduled and how many participants are part of it. And then the review cycle also helps me understanding what is the schedule that I have. All the reports can be downloaded with Excel here. So all this reporting tool, there's always a button in the top right corner that shows download Excel. In terms of notification, this was the question we get very often. So the little table here, 3 weeks before, the review owner will be receiving an email getting ready for the review, because how as a review owner, how would you can rely on the notifications and the emails from Skore, but we believe the best practice is also to put a little bit of a human touch in it, and maybe do the review as a meeting or as a team meeting you already have scheduled, and take half an hour to review the processes together, or if you have the chance to get everyone in the same room or virtual room to do it together. It's always a good opportunity to have a very good conversation about the processes. So that's why we send you an email 3 weeks before saying, right, maybe you want to organize a little event for that. Then the participants will be notified, so 1 week before, 1 day before, and on the due date. Okay, we're trying to find the right balance of not spamming users, but as well letting them know that there's an action. The review tracker will be sent to the owner on the due date, saying, right, these are all the users who did it or not. And 2 days after, if the review is still open, if the review is a mandatory one, so mandatory is like you won't be able to close it until everyone has participated, and we will remind the participants. But we stop there. Okay, so you don't expect Skore to do all the work for you. Skore sends you some notifications, but won't do the work for you. Okay, so yeah, that's for the presentation of the feature. But as I was to my point at the beginning, creating a culture of continuous improvement, of process management, goes beyond the feature that we have in Skore. And we have a number of drop-in sessions talking about this topic, about how to get the right sponsorship and who are the people involved in creating this culture. Thank you very much for your visit. We'll see you next week.